Okay, it looks like we're live. This is a thing that's happening. Why it's happening? Uh, Hair cutting places in Toronto have been open for a while, but getting an appointment actually is quite difficult when when you when when you didn't book an appointment like 4 months ago. So the hat is a thing today, at least. Howdy indeed. What's the craziest comment you've received since the last stream? Um, I don't know. Probably a comment where someone wrote like a 3,000 word essay. It's just, it's crazy when something like that happens because I respect the thought that goes into it, but I usually don't read those whole comments because when I'm in the, when I'm looking at comments, I'm usually in defensive mode. So yeah, things could be a bit crazy, but it's a good question. Today should be an interesting stream. I will say, yes, I am standing. We are standing. Again, standing desk now, which is quite fun, which means I can be a bit more emotive. Uh, if, uh, if you haven't been to the stream in the last 2 weeks since I've been in this nice new location. Um, what was I going to say? Okay, so what is going on for the stream today? I keep notes, and the notes I keep are notes that I have misplaced. So give me a second here, so I can find the so I can find the notes. People are posting things on Discord about the hat, and it is wonderful. 1 second here. Let me find this. Yes, okay. So I actually have received some mail from you, the viewers, and I'm going to open it on stream, which will be fun. Um, but yeah, if you want to send me a transit card or a transit map from your city and have me open it on stream, or just a letter or something, the link is in the description down below, so you should definitely do that. There's also the link to the next stream down below, so if you want to be reminded of the next one, which you should be, click the link below. What else do I want to say? As always, if you haven't watched today's video, which a lot of people haven't, please go check out today's video. It really it needs your appreciation. So go check that out. Yeah, my face is going to be poorly lit today. Not much I can do about it, but yeah, gotta wear the hat. I'll go through the chat now. Oh, 3,000 words about what in this comment? I think it was like 3,000 words about why I'm wrong about, what was the topic? I think it was about something totally vacuous, like the unusual railways video. It came up like a month after I posted that video, and someone was commenting on why I was wrong. Those aren't actually the most unusual railways. Like, what are you saying? There was another video I saw recently, which you should go check out on Half as Interesting, about the Hajj Metro. I was going to do a video about it like 6 months ago, almost the exact same title, but a very different video because I was going to get into the technical details of it more. But then he made the video, so I need to think about what I'm going to do. But go like my comment on his video, because why not? Let me get my hat in order. I'll go through the chat, and then once I've got through the chat, I'm going to open the mail from some lovely folks who sent mail, and then we can talk some transit news, and then maybe some more Q&A, and someone almost was in frame there. 10 seconds here. Let's just go like this. Okay, audio, we're good. Video, I'm back. Okay, excellent. Let's go through the chat. What is your favorite game you like to play? That's an interesting question. I don't play many games these days, sadly. But if I was playing a game, I could go for some Cities Skylines. It's a good game. It's a fun game. What can I say? Hey, what's up? You and Not Just Bikes are great. Thanks. Um, let's see. Greetings from Boston. Greetings to you. As a Celtics fan, I actively disapprove of your sweatshirt. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a huge sports fan. I just have this sweatshirt, and the Raptors are cool, so that's why I'm wearing it. Loved your video about self-driving cars not replacing transit. Thank you. It was a very last-minute affair. I'm gonna be honest. This week has been insane for videos. I have stayed up all night, every night, for almost every day this week. So it's been a bit crazy, but there are lots of good videos coming, especially on Monday. Monday's video, very special, very, very special. You know, set your calendars. Where do you live in Toronto? I live in Anonymousville. I don't really share where I live for kind of obvious reasons. Why are the squirrels on the street afraid of public transit? We will never know. Hello from Bucharest, Romania. Maybe I will make a transit video about it someday, but probably not too soon because I plan things out for a long time. So, okay, 10 seconds. Let's go back up the chat. Thoughts on San Diego levying a mileage tax on all vehicles, including gas vehicles, to fund transit? Mileage taxes are very unpopular as gas prices rival Quebec. I think it's good. The problem is if the transit is not good, then it does feel a little bad to have a tax on people driving. And San Diego transit's okay, but just in general, there's only a few places in the US that I would say have good transit. So I think that that's something you have to think about. You should only really be punishing when you have a good alternative. I wish I could stay, but I'm from Singapore and it's like 3 a.m. Again, set a reminder for the next stream. It's more oriented towards people in Asia, Australia, etc. because it's in my evening. So just watch that one. It's next Saturday morning, I think. Not next Saturday. 2 weeks. Always 2 weeks apart. Have you ever been to LA? Yes, many times. Did bus fanning in Quebec with Sherman Wong? No, I don't know who that is, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure he moved to downtown, indeed. Reece the Mountie needs a red jacket and tall boots. Yeah, okay. Ooh, 10 seconds. Someone became a member of the channel. Well, thank you so much for becoming a member. It is much appreciated. It's interesting. I can actually see when someone becomes a member. So, the more you learn. Yahya the transit guy. Very cool. How was Halloween? I actually went to quite a rager, and I went as the Eglinton Crosstown. The details of the costume will remain a secret, though. Let's continue. Do you have an opinion on the Karlsruhe tram train downtown tunnel? Not a strong one right now, but maybe in a future video. Can you take a look at the Aarhus trams? I pronounced that wrong for sure. Maybe eventually, but we'll have to see. What was I going to say? Would you ever create a gaming channel? Unlikely, because again, getting a gaming console or a gaming computer right now is nigh impossible, and so it would be there. I would have no way of streaming games. I guess I could stream them on the MacBook Pro. Give me a second here. The lovely new MacBook Pro. If you haven't already, please go check out the B channel. It is a lot of work making videos over there. Ooh, someone else became a member. Now I have to shout them out. Jake Short, thank you so much for becoming a member. What was I going to say? Oh yes, the new MacBook Pro, very fun, very awesome. Let me post a link to the B channel video I did unboxing it. I'll probably do another video actually like not reviewing it, but kind of saying how has it impacted my ability to make videos about trains, because that's my way of determining if a laptop is good or not. Let's grab the link here. Bada bee, bada boo. Here, I'm just gonna throw the link into the chat, and then let's pin that. Let's go like this, pin the message. Okay, there we go. I think that's great. Cool. Okay. How did you come up with the name RM Transit? Well, my channel is about transit, and my initials are RM, so RM Transit. My channel was originally named the same thing as my second channel, which you'll have to go check out to see what it's named, but I changed it because people said it was not transit enough. So now it's transity. Are you ever going to do a video about Switzerland? Oh, absolutely. Like, the only reason I don't do a video about like this, the reason I don't do videos about Japan, Switzerland, the Netherlands more often is because they're the ones that they need to be nice, because those are the rail nations. If you join our Discord, you'll see that they are in their own category of railway nations. Thoughts on the GLX? Can't imagine I'm not the only one asking. Can't imagine that I am not the only one asking. The GLX is crazy, but you should read the costing report that was done by the Merit Institute. It is super interesting. Hi Reece, when are you going to make a video on Val and Translore? Honestly, I forgot to say, but I'm going to do a segment later about things that are in the pipeline. Not too detailed because that's for the patrons and the members, but I'll give you some hints. And the Val and Translore video is going to be a while. It's just not in my immediate month or two of planned out videos, but it will come. Yeah. Let's look. Do you think a busway or some kind of rapid transit along the length of the Finch Hydro Corridor would make sense? Absolutely. It's frustrating that the Finch LRT runs down the middle of a street instead of in this giant hydro corridor that could hold trains and they could go faster. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes with that project. You have the hydro corridor, you should have used it. There's this argument that, oh, people would have to walk north of Finch, but it's like, okay, people have to walk north of Bloor Street to get on the Line 2 subway, so that's a little silly, I think. Johnny Strides mentioned you yesterday on stream. Well, that's touching. I haven't seen it, but maybe someone can send it to me on Discord and give me a timestamp, maybe, and maybe we can do a collab at some point. Reece rips off Raptors hoodie to reveal Raptors t-shirt underneath. Maybe. We'll see what happens with that. Do you think the Trillium Line expansion is underbuilt considering the amount of new development? Yeah, it's a little odd to me that they didn't just go full bore and just make it a proper 2-track line, electrify it. I mean, it feels like every time the Trillium just makes like a half step forward, and then a few years later a full step is required. You know, if I were to do it, I would keep the same trains. The flirts are lovely, but let's get the electric version. Be the first ones in North America, and let's 2-track the whole thing. It's all fine. That's good. I need to respond to a message that just come in. Where is this? Okay, we're good. Yeah, we turned it to a 2-track line. Maybe the Dow's Lake Tunnel would remain as a 1-track, but the rest of it would be 2 tracks, high frequency, electrified. It's frustrating. And by the way, yeah, I'm skipping through messages a bit because streams are getting big. It's good. Channel's getting big, but it does make it a little hard to hit everyone. Do you want footage of the underground containers in the Netherlands? I actually think I'm good, but thank you so much. That's actually really appreciated. Do you think that rents in Toronto will affect the transit in Toronto? Probably not. Do you think Quebec City should go for a tramway or a metro? If the metro plan wasn't insincere feeling, I would say metro, but I think the tramway is probably the right approach. I will say that since it's heavily inspired by like French systems, it feels like it'll be better than a lot of the Ontario systems, which have their problems. Uh, any good news with Amtrak or transit in general? I'm going to do a video on the American infrastructure bill and why I think it actually is not as good as people think. I know, negative, whatever. It's important to talk about. Exactly. Someone made a great comment here. They're talking about Seoul. So there's this thing that people share all over the place on Twitter and in other places, Facebook, wherever you do your social media, about how Seoul removed its freeway and there's a creek underneath. I'm sure many of you have seen it, but that was only possible because there were transit alternatives. If Seoul was just a bunch of trams, I don't think that would have been possible, but because Seoul has a really comprehensive transit network, they were able to do it. So it's important that you have good transit. Do you think Caltrain should make an extension to Santa Cruz and Monterey? Only if it can be electrified, I would say. Just wanted to say it's kind of cool that your latest video had a clip from Norway. Well, thank you. LA is one big suburb mostly. Yeah, I can concur with that. Oh, just got shot down to the bottom, but let's fly through, and then I'm going to open the mail that people sent me, which is very exciting to me. So stay tuned for that. And if you're just coming onto the stream now, I'm wearing a hat. My hair looks absolutely mind-bogglingly bad. I'm waiting for a haircut at some point, which in Toronto is very scarce these days. Yes, I could cut my own hair. Come on. I'm not going to do a good job of it. I'm a transit person, not a haircutting person. There's a big difference. But yeah, if you're just joining, link to send me stuff in the description. Link to my second channel pinned in the chat, and link to the next stream is down below. And consider supporting via YouTube memberships or super chats or Patreon. It's always super appreciated. Okay, let me continue. Yes, exactly. If it isn't transit enough, I'll turn up the transit to 11. Do you think elevated LRT like SkyTrain is better than the Eglinton Crosstown? It's not LRT. I hate the term LRT. I think it should never have been invented. I think it is truly the worst thing ever. I have a hour-long script I wrote at one point about LRT and why it's a fraud. And I almost made the video, but then I realized, okay, cool it down. If you didn't see today's ranty video, you should watch it. What is your favorite city? I can't answer that. Would you do a video on Curitiba? Definitely. Why don't all cities just run rail on the median of interstate highways? Not every city has interstate highways. But also, it isn't the best place to have rail, right? So you have to think about that. It's not bad, but it's not great. I don't refer to specific people in streams. I think that's not good. Let me knock this comment out. When you travel to other countries with better transit, do you just die a little when you have to use it after your vacation? No, because when I use it after my vacation, I think, you know, we're not amazing, but we do some things well. And that sort of negative attitude that North America is doomed or whatever, it's not true. We can be good. You have to choose to be good. And you have to watch our transit videos to learn how we can be good, or other videos, or read books, or maybe get a degree. Maybe don't do that. We'll see. Do you think the Grand Purse Express should be bigger? Nah, it's pretty big. Thoughts on Brightline West? It's quite cool, except the fact that it doesn't go to LA. The ratio of answering questions to questions asked is not turning out in your favor. Unfortunately, it's not really practical for me to answer every single question all the time. Sorry. Sorry. Do you think public transit should be free for everyone? I actually made a video about this, and no, I do not think it should be free for everyone. I think it should probably be free for some people, for sure, but yeah, I don't think it should be free for everyone. Not shaving my head. Subways are LRT. According to, I think, Manila, that is true. Let's see. Isn't one bad thing about PSDs the long dwell time between door closing and train moving? It doesn't have to be long if you do PSDs well, actually, but that is a potential problem. Has the recent issue with Sydney Light Rail being shut down due to cracks in the vehicle's steel components? That is really bad, but I think it's in the wheels, right? Which might be better than like the frame. What are your thoughts on park and ride facilities? I actually don't think they're evil. I just think that you can have them, but you actually have to have good connections as well. I don't want the TTC subway map shaved into the back of my head. As much as that sounds like a fantastic idea. Thoughts on the DLR expansion plans? I hadn't heard of it until your Paris video. Will the Toronto subway be more attractive in look and have separated platform doors? I think it's pretty attractive, especially the newer parts. So, I don't know why you would say something so offensive to my Toronto subway. I'm glad you have a positive outlook on American transport. That's why I started watching your videos. I'm not always positive, but I do think that I'm not a believer that, for example, cities in the South are doomed, or that we couldn't have the best transit in the world if we actually wanted to. All of this stuff is possible if we wanted to, if we wanted to happen. Oh yes, okay. There was a great video where Seth McDermott was interviewed by Railfans Canada. It was great. You should check it out. Do you like long haul trains? Of course. Just not over like multi-day journeys for travel purposes. For fun, yes. Okay, it's time to open the mail. Give me a second here. What was I was going to do something. Oh yes, I'm going to just shut the camera and the mic for a minute. Relax. The stream is continuing, but I have to do something. Time for some mail. So, apologies, I received some of this mail before I started actually properly opening stuff on stream. And so, apologies in advance for the stuff I don't actually originally open on stream. But I wanted to show this stuff because it's quite cool. And I dropped something, give me a moment. So, Tom, very much appreciated, sent me this stuff from Berlin. So this is a great thing you could send me in the future. He also sent me a card, which I think I've put in my collection of cards. Let's see. This is a transit map of Berlin, and it is so satisfying. I'm considering putting it on my wall, to be honest. Here, you can see the Ringbahn and the Stadtbahn. Very nice, I know. And on the back, you have what appears to be the U-Bahn network, I think. I feel bad if it isn't. I think it is. No, it's not. Is it? No, it's the trams. Ugh, trams. No, I'm kidding. It's cool. This is much appreciated, so thank you for sending this to me, Tom. Also, there is a larger one, which is really awesome here. Oh, and yes, there is the fare card, which is very cool as well. This is awesome. So thank you so much, Tom, for sending that to me. I also have received, and let me put this in my bag where I put my mail. Again, if you have something cool, send it to me. So this is from Matt. Thank you so much, Matt, for sending this. Let's see what this is. I'm kind of butchering the envelope because we've got to move along quickly through these streams. But let's see what this is. Unfolding whatever this is. And if you're wondering, hey, we tell you what it is when we submit mail. Yes, but I forget what things are. Ooh, this is very special. This is so cool. Okay, this is awesome. This is the ARC card. Edmonton has a fair card, and it's a smart card. This is so fantastic. Calgary, what are you doing? Edmonton has a smart card. You should have a smart card too. Thank you so much, Matt, for sending this to me. It's really appreciated. This is awesome. This is really cool. Give me 1 second now. I need to put this mail away, and then I will be back. The mic is back on, and I am back. 10 seconds. Let's just monitor these chats. Someone is saying I need to be sent a letter opener. That would be appreciated. Okay, let's get back to the chat. Okay. Should Shanghai Metro Line 3 and 4 be disentangled? Yeah, maybe. That would actually, if you don't know, Line 4 is a loop. Line 3 goes off the side. Yeah, I think a separate tunnel for line 3 would be fantastic. How many people do you see ride Toronto Transit? A lot, because, you know, big trains, buses, lots of people. Can Toronto turn Spadina and St. George into cross-platform transfers? Watch my video on the Secret Bay subway station. I talk about it in that video. Let's see. Another bus, another bus network. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I definitely think so. So this might sound shocking, but the Netherlands and other places like Japan, the Netherlands, Switzerland, they have park and rides. It's a thing. Park and rides are not this evil thing, and I think too often we have this approach in the transit and urbanism community of talking about things like park and rides like they wouldn't exist. Asking, sorry, brain fog. Yes, park and rides. Yeah, like park and rides, good thing. Some people actually have a good reason for driving a car, and we should make it so they can access transit too. I don't know if you've answered this already, but do you think the LA Orange line should be converted to LRT? I think that's the plan. I think it makes sense. Um, LRT is kind of lame though. Regional rail would be better. Yes, the other big YouTubers are jumping on the transit trend. I actually mentioned this half as interesting video, which is good. Uh, I mentioned it. Let me just make sure my audio is muted so that I don't blast it. But I mentioned it earlier in the stream, and I left a comment on it, and it would be great if I can get some upvotes on that comment. Maybe we can get to the top of the comments. But I was actually going to make this exact video. Well, not this exact video, more technical and details on. It's not so simple. It's not so simple how they get super high capacity. It's actually very different than any other transit line in the world, the way it works, it's fascinating. So I wanted to make a video on it, but I was dubious because of reasons, basically. But I should have probably made this video because I turned down potentially like hundreds of thousands of views. So sad. But yeah, worth watching that video. It was a good one. Berlin trams are great. Should Vancouver North Shore get a SkyTrain? Yeah, I would say so. I think it makes sense. It's not a super high population area, but it's a constrained area, so it makes sense to connect it up to rail. And then we don't need to build another road bridge. Let me scroll up here. The S-Bahn does definitely serve as a metro, and I've shouted it out before, but I'm going to say it again. The new Berlin S-Bahn trains are my favorite trains in the world. They are so beautiful. I love them. Hello, the cowboy. Yes. What got you involved into transit? Just lots of travel, seeing how good transit could be in other places, but also just enjoying transit at home in Vancouver, which is where I'm from, so I do talk about it a lot. And yeah, you know, from that, I decided to start the channel. Do buses without a timetable exist outside the UK? Definitely, yeah, all over the place. Yeah, we tend to call them on demand, something like that. They wouldn't have a park and ride in my beloved urban paradise of Europe. Yeah, exactly. No one drives cars in Europe. Exactly. Yeah, in a perfect situation, I agree. There would be no need. Someone saying LRT rules. I should probably block them from the chat here. No, it's okay. If you convert a car park and ride, you can 10x the capacity overnight. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Would linear induction motor tech be worse in more weather-challenged northern areas? That really depends. I need to make a video on linear induction motor technology so that I can say whether it will. But that is an interesting thing that I should add as a detail, because I actually do have thoughts on this, but I will forget to mention it if I don't. So let me add it to the list. So I'm actually planning, so future video that will come out before the end of the year is a video on linear induction motor technology. Where is it here? Cool. Okay. So yes, you'll hear about that later this year. Wow, we have 95 concurrent viewers on the stream. That's pretty cool. Since we're pretty far into the stream, let me think. I'm gonna say that, yeah, if you haven't, send me mail so I can open it on the next stream. I know a lot of people have sent mail, just hasn't arrived yet. It will probably arrive before the next stream in 2 weeks, so a bunch more stuff to open next week, but send me more stuff and I will get it and open it up on stream. I know a lot of people have submitted the form and I haven't replied yet. I will reply. Just a lot of responses, so I need to slowly go through them, and I kind of do them in batches. The next thing is, if you're not already, set a reminder to watch the next stream. It's in the description below. Consider supporting the channel via Patreon, YouTube memberships. We don't have super thanks, sadly, but we do have super chats. And woo, we got a super chat. Actually, let me take a look at this. We had a demand-responsive bus trial a while ago. The pandemic killed it off, but take a look at Go Sutton. Yeah, there's been a lot of these systems in the UK, it seems. The UK's bus systems actually have a lot of problems oftentimes, besides in London. But I actually think on-demand transit is kind of promising. There are certain places where it doesn't make sense to have a regular bus service, right? Like low-density places, rural areas, and demand-responsive, or on-demand, is actually one of those technologies that could make sense in such places. Anyways, before I said that, consider supporting the channel, much appreciated. Subscribe if you're not, and hit the bell icon, it actually helps. And watch today's video, it's a good one. And there's a big video coming Monday. It's huge, like huge. Make sure to watch it. Is there any hope for Ottawa? Yeah, I would say so. Again, I think people, there's issues with maintenance, but that can be sorted out. The Dorthbon Surf House. In terms of trick metros to make a video for views, haha. The problem with park and rides is that not everyone lives walking distance from transit stops. Some people need to drive. Not every city is Tokyo or New York City. Yeah, again, obviously bus service should come first, but there are some people who bus service can't necessarily be provided to. Or maybe your transit runs hours your buses don't. In any case, park and rides, small ones, and they can be small as long as you have good options, because then only the people that really need to use them will probably use them. They're an option that you can have. It doesn't need to be a massive space. It could be 10 parking spots, just a tiny small lot, or even along the side of a lane or something. But having them is not actually the end of the world. You just go like this. Okay, let me scroll up. Someone is spamming the chat. Please don't do that. Yeah, I think the term choice rider is not the greatest, but without them, we wouldn't have them. I don't agree. I don't think the new Berlin S-Bahn trains look dorky. I love them. We had a really interesting demand-responsive transit. Okay, sorry. I literally just read this message. Almere, Netherlands has the best bus network. Good to know. Do you ever wonder why high platforms don't exist in Toronto Union Station or many other stations? It's to prevent, there's a lot of reasons. It's not necessarily simple, but first of all, it's more flexible to use different types of trains. If you have high platforms, how are you going to board a low floor train? There's also issues with freight compatibility and other things like kind of co-using it with freight. So there's a lot of reasons. Do you hate it when train cars are mismatched color-wise? No, I don't hate it. That's just the reality of a big fleet. What actually is an LRT? We will never know. It has never been constructed, as a wise person says. Can we hit 100? Yeah, come on. We're at 96. Send the link to a few friends. 97, and we will hit 100 possibly. Let's see. The CLRVs had a wheelchair lift option. They didn't have a wheelchair lift on them, but maybe the old ones did, or there was an option or something. I'm not sure. Best bus line in Toronto? I don't believe. Oh, 99. Okay. I don't believe there's a best bus line, but I'm partial to Steele's West. It always feels like it's frequent. It never seems to have many problems, and that's something I appreciate. Yeah, I'm gonna make a video about the U.S. infrastructure bill. Will you do a collab with Jarrett Walker? Probably not. That's complicated though. Ooh, I gotta scroll up. What about a collab with Alon Levy for that matter? I actually was doing one, but unfortunately the files got corrupted. We chatted for a video, just a talking transit, but I might try to do it again. Alon is a busy person. Yeah, Jeff Marshall did do a video on one of the on-demand transit services. I think it was south of London. I forget where it was. Great shirt and hat. Well, thank you. My hair is in such a state that I am wearing this hat today. It's crazy. I was watching that one before the stream. Great to hear. Will there be more videos from Nordic cities like Oslo or Helsinki? So here's a little hint. Actually, along with the UK, France, a bunch of places that I actually think I want to travel to soon, I'm not making videos because I would rather wait and make videos in person. Like, how cool would it be? I'm already imagining it. Making videos about the metro in Stockholm, but as like not entirely as vlogs, but I want to make some vlogs in Stockholm, Helsinki, great cities. Spent a lot of time there, but I'm just waiting because these are places I will travel pretty quickly when I feel like travel is back to normal. So that's why you're not seeing them. Like, I would love to go to Stockholm, film. Like, my plan is whenever I visit a place, this is what I want to do. I want to film a few station focuses. Because I love station focuses. If you haven't watched them, come on, watch them. They're like one of my favorite videos to make, and well, they're mostly about Toronto right now. Once travel comes back, they will be about places all around the world. And I think it's just interesting to see different stations from different places. 100 concurrent viewers, woo! But yeah, no, like I will make videos on Stockholm and other places, Oslo, even more places in the future. I'd love to go back to Tallinn. Tallinn, Estonia, really cool city. But yeah, like it's just travel issues. But when I do, station focuses, maybe a vehicles of transit on a really interesting vehicle. The C30 trains, I think, in Stockholm are really cool. They're very unique. Crap, I need to make a video about these. Sorry, let me make a note. You guys have me thinking. 102 concurrent viewers, that's exciting. But so those stuff. Vehicles of transit, station focus, a lot of B-roll for me to use in future videos when I'm talking about different stuff. 109 concurrent viewers. Wow, you guys must have sent links to people. But yes, talking about that stuff, talking about the mainline rail services. I believe it's the Fly to Get in Oslo that has the really wacky looking trains. They're wacky, but I love the look. Yes, basically, I'm going to make videos. I also want to go back to Copenhagen, which is so cool. You know, station focuses, vehicles of transit, B-roll, and some vlogs, and maybe meetups in other cities. I don't want to do a meetup in Toronto. It's complicated why. But maybe in other cities I actually would. Basically, it's kind of a numbers thing. But yeah, I think I want to travel to the Nordics again. So stay tuned. Oof. I'm buried a little. How about a video about signaling? I'm actually probably going to do a collaboration with a friend who knows a ton about signaling, so stay tuned for that. Should we consider vertical platform screen doors at Union Station? I'm a little iffy about vertical platform screen doors. I think they're expensive and they're not as good as regular ones. I think more places would actually support full-size bus networks if they had good service. Opinions on the Stockholm Metro, so many, but I'm going to save it for my video that I'm going to make about it now that someone inspired me. Do you support having transit systems buying up real estate around stations? Yes. Would you consider a video series where you look at cities with bad transit and suggest improvements? Yeah, possibly. That's actually an interesting idea. Do you think Shepherd Line should be extended to Shepherd West? Yep, said it many times in videos. Do you like when the platform isn't long enough for the train? This is commonly seen with Amtrak. I don't like it at all, no. I would prefer full-length platform at every station, but I understand it is sometimes necessary, but probably less necessary than many places. I'm not showing my hair. It is a mess. Yeah. My hair is brutal. I have some dye, because I'm thinking about dyeing it. I dyed it a long time ago. If you've been following the channel long enough that you know that I dyed my hair in the past, you are a true OG. but I am probably going to dye it again. But I'm also not looking forward to the burning feeling of bleach on my head, so I'm still thinking. Do you think California high-speed rail should be canceled? I mean, it is kind of canceled, sadly. The current state of it, I think, again, Alan Levy said it really well in a recent blog post, that it is kind of canceled. Like, it's kind of perennial construction, but not that much money is being spent, which is basically, we canceled it, but we don't want to say we canceled it, because it's not going to get finished anytime soon at this rate. Do you think politics and transportation have a correlation? I wouldn't say a correlation, but they are obviously connected. There's no way they just cancel a high-speed rail line that already has segments built. I don't agree. I think it will. I think where we are is it's basically canceled, and I think at best, at best it's going to be nice tracks for some of Amtrak services that operate through the area. Would you do a video on India's RTS? Well, I actually talked about it in my high-speed rail in India video. I may in the future. The issue with doing stuff on Indian rail systems broadly, and hey, if you're from India and you have connections, let me know. But I can't get tons of photos, and you hopefully have noticed I've been using a lot more photos and videos in my videos. But that also tempts me to not make as much content on places I can't get as much videos and photos of, because it just, first, I could draw. Actually, it isn't me who draws. It is, the channel has, let's say, a production assistant now, who helps with editing and who actually draws the thumbnails you've been seeing. Their Instagram may be linked. It should be linked in the video descriptions. You should go follow them, because maybe they'll post about the stuff they're doing on the channel. But we have a production assistant now, which is quite cool. But it would just be too much work to draw everything. So we need access to footage, and I cannot just use footage from Google. I need like proper licensing and stuff. I try to do things by the book. Thoughts on the Copenhagen S-Bahn? They're great. Should they be adopted in North America? As much as any S-Bahn system should be. Fun to hear positives about Stockholm. There's not that many negatives, I would say. I actually need to shout someone out. Give me a second here, guys. Guys and gals, gals, and everyone in between. If you haven't already, I recommend reading the Tracks of the New York City Subway book. If you haven't, let's just say I came across it. Very interesting book. If you're from New York, or even if you're not, really cool book. Check it out. It's kind of what I would want to do in an explained video, but in book form. Love your videos, honest, informative, and not patronizing. Thank you. That's great to hear. What's up, Reece? How's it going? It's going well. I'm in the apartment streaming, standing desk. It's great. If you didn't come to the last stream, you should watch it. I think it's a good one. A Scandinavian RM transit meetup could be very fun indeed. Can you talk about transporting freight by rail or air? Yeah, I mean, like, freight rail is something. I mean, I'll make a note. Freight rail is something I always go on and off about talking about. Will you interview Andy Byford? I hope so at some point. I haven't been actively trying to, but maybe I will reach out. Could the Ontario line ever connect to Line 2 on the west side? Yes, absolutely. I would like it to do so maybe at Jane. California high-speed rail canceled on stream by Reece. Hey, how about a video about the metro in Pyongyang, North Korea? Not my highest priority, if I'm honest, but maybe. Should Ontario invest in making every TTC station accessible? We already are. Why do you think infrastructure is so much more expensive in North America compared to the rest of the world? Another thing you should go look at Alan Levy's blog for. Why do you think infrastructure... Oh, okay, sorry. What do you think about the passing of the infrastructure bill? Gonna talk about it in its own video. I don't think the California high-speed rail will be canceled per se, but it's not getting a full build out. If it's not connected from San Francisco to Los Angeles, I consider that canceled. If it doesn't do that, it's not... the whole Fresno, etc. are important cities. They're cities, but they're just not... They're not... I don't believe they're cities that are large enough to drive high-speed rail to success. I think you need to connect LA and San Francisco, or I guess LA and San Jose at the minimum. Without doing that, I think you're just not getting. California high-speed rail is incredibly expensive. So you need to do more than, like, if this was Europe, then high-speed rail to Fresno could make sense. But given the $100 billion cost, if you do not actually make that full connection, and remember, even like a $30 billion cost that only goes to Fresno is insane. If you don't make those connections, then I think it's, you just cannot, you're not getting the benefit that you need for your costs. So I'll ask a question to the stream. Would you like a second video talking about my move and like how I decide where to live? I'm not going to say where I live, but I will give some details that I think people should consider when moving into a more transit accessible location. It will be on the B channel, not on the main channel. Curious? Let me know in the chat. Let me continue through. Favorite, did someone actually ask this? Favorite cereal to eat in the morning? I don't eat cereal, if I'm completely honest. Well, I have. When I was a kid, I ate cereal. I like Raisin Bran. I know, that's going to get me canceled. Not a popular cereal. Should Ontario... Okay, no. Sorry, skip this. There's never been a transportation project that was left incomplete. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Do you want footage of in India? My girlfriend is in Delhi right now. I support any footage. If you want to provide footage to the channel... There's a bit of a process, and I say this because I have certain quality standards. So if you want to help with footage, which would obviously be very appreciated, send me an email to the channel and I will start the process. It is not a huge process, but it's a bit of a process. I want to hear your opinion on what's next, the next steps for transit in Waterloo region. Please use Presto. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Presto, Presto, Presto. I don't think someone's saying I don't think the gram is linked. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but maybe someone will mention. Also the Ion Phase 2, I think that's a good project, and then just more, I would say more bus lanes, more cycle lanes, but it's actually, things are moving in the right direction. Your go-to sandwich at Tim Hortons? That's hilarious that you're asking this. I don't really have Tim Hortons now. It has gone way downhill from where it used to be. I used to have it way too often, especially in university, but it's gone so downhill. And after my first year of university, they used to have a steak and cheese panini that was like awesome. I loved it. They stopped it, and now it will never be the same to me. But yeah, Tim Hortons just, it's really gone downhill. Do you like how Alstom trains look? Yeah, generally. I really do like Alstom's designs. Do you think a DLR-like system makes sense for Toronto's waterfront? Yes. Let me scroll back up. Thoughts on path? Question at 241. Oh, I think that must be Johnny Strides. If it is, maybe someone can confirm. Let me just make a note here. Cool. Okay. Not every TTC subway station has an elevator for people with mobility issues. No, it does not, but they are installing them at every station. Slowly, but they are installing them. 109 concurrent viewers. This is really touching. There's a graph when you're streaming, and the graph looks like this, and we're up really high. So that's satisfying. LA to San Francisco Hyperloop. I mentioned Hyperloop in today's video, and yeah, that's how I feel. If it doesn't make a Bakersfield to LA connection, it's meaningless. I agree. Opinions. I think this is opinions on Ontario's 413. I don't know. I think that the discussion around building new highways in general is one that is very difficult to have. That's what I'll say. I agree with literally everything you say except your take on California high-speed rail. Do we really think that California high-speed rail makes any sense if it doesn't connect to the big cities? I think that is like a totally reasonable opinion that I think a lot of people in the transportation space share. So if that's what you disagree with, I think it's actually a very reasonable opinion. I don't think the Central Valley in any way by itself justifies high-speed rail. And I have heard the argument that the reason it makes sense is because there's a housing crisis in San Francisco. That's not gonna fix the problem. Think about it. Okay, first of all, the housing crisis is probably going to become broader than just like the Bay Area, but also having people commute hours because of a housing crisis does not really feel like a solution. But also, if there's going to be a few locations that have high-speed rail, you will just export the housing crisis to those places as well. I think that's a very real thing. Yeah, Toronto is doing fantastic. Most places in North America, not most, but many places in North America have no real plan to completely make their system accessible. Toronto's subway will be fully accessible in the next couple years. That would be a cool video. Okay, let me take a note. I'm also going to do the Q&A. I have a Q&A planned that I have to do. I just have lots of videos to make, you know. So if it takes a while sometimes, yeah, you'll know why. Okay, some of these questions are strange. What are your pet peeves in train design? Low floors. Disregarding problems with the geography of the Pacific Northwest, do you think Vancouver, Portland, Seattle could be a higher speed rail corridor? I think it'd be a high speed rail corridor as long as the price was right, for sure. I mean, it already is higher speed. I believe it's higher speed right now. I don't think you need 12 million people, but I do think you need lower costs for sure. Biggest quirk of the Singapore MRT, building everything underground nowadays. What are your favorite door types? I like outside mounted doors a lot, I would say. They don't work in snowy locations as well though. Hey, just wanted to say Toulouse in France has a great transit system. It does, yeah. Actually, I believe they're playing a light metro, but they're not anymore. Favorite system that's referred to as light rail? SkyTrain, of course. Referred to as light rail by people who frustrate me, but it's referred to as light rail. If you're just joining now, since it's been a while again, link to the next stream is in the description. Link to send me mail also in the description. Oh, interesting. One thing that is a bit annoying about this apartment is the blinds are all slightly set apart, and that causes these streaks of light to come through and can be quite blinding at times. Again, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a video, leave comments on my videos. They're always appreciated, and I do read most of them, even if I don't always reply now. And consider supporting the channel via Patreon, YouTube memberships, and Super Chat to get early access to videos. Not with Super Chats, but with the rest. Let me go up and continue. Also, yeah, if people have any interest in stuff that's in the pipeline, maybe I can mention some things, but let me know in the chat. Yeah, I agree. California high-speed rail cannot be viable unless you connect the major centers. Interesting. I didn't know Toulouse was opening an urban gondola, but good on them. I think the logic is if California high-speed rail is built, people will realize that high-speed rail is good and that it's silly not to connect it to LA and San Francisco. This, yes, of course, Toulouse has Airbus as well, which if you didn't know, if you don't know about aviation, it's the light metro was going to move people between all of the like various Airbus sites, I believe. I don't believe, like this whole belief that, oh, it's going to be silly not to finish the line if we've built part of it. I don't know about that. Similar things have happened before, and that was not how they went. The part that's being built is what should be the very lowest cost part. The parts through the mountains will be insanely expensive based on how much building through mostly empty fields has been, and I do not agree that this is going to get people to see it's great, especially because you will not see how great high-speed rail is if it doesn't connect to the big cities. So this is sort of an enigma that the Central Valley section will convince people that high-speed rail is great. The only thing it will convince people of is that trains can go fast, if trains ever run on it that are high speed. Least favorite TTC subway station, probably like Islington or maybe Sherbourne. Sorry, Sherbourne. Thoughts on Sacramento LRT? I don't really think about it, and that tells you almost everything you need to know. I have used it before, but it was rough. As for me, okay. Do you think highway median rail can be executed well? Definitely, but it often isn't. After 30 years of ADA, most major US transit systems don't even have a plan to make things accessible, and which is crazy because in Ontario, at least, they're going to have to, or they can be sued, which is not that common. In Canada is not that litigious of a country, but in this case it is, which is good. The East Side Connect was just finished with revenue service. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, vote on, you'll have to look back into the community posts, but vote on your favorite transit projects of the year. It's a big deal. Any hints you can give about the Monday video? I can't give too many hints. All I can say is that it's a big system. It's in a city I have talked about, or in a area I've talked about that maybe has come up in this chat somewhere. That it's a big system. I've talked about it. It has some expansion planned. It opened in the 20th century. It has new trains. I'm not going to say much more. Highway 407 is too big, but I don't think that makes it a bad station. It shouldn't have been so big, though. I wanted to say thank you for all you do. You got me hooked on transit and walkable development. Now I am the annoying friend always talking about it. It's cool that so many urban channels are Canadian. I agree, but that's actually just a general thing I've talked about with Paige Saunders and some other friends, is how big Canadians are on the internet. Like, there are so many Canadian YouTube channels. If you look at tech YouTube, something I'm not looped into it, but I do watch it because I like technology, because I'm a tech person. There are so many big tech channels and big channels in general that are Canadian. Canadians do really well on the internet. I'm curious why. It's a question I think is an open question. When considering connectivity, amenities, design, and location, what is the best major transit station in North America? I might actually say it's Union Station in Toronto. Like, that's my initial, that would be my initial thing to mention. So the reason I say that is recently renovated, very nice, large station, direct connections to the major sports stadiums in Toronto, as well as to a major convention center right downtown in the center of the business district, but also accessible to the waterfront. Has subway, has streetcar, has a great indoor bus terminal, has a heavy rail, has an airport link. I think there's a strong case to be made that it's the best major station in North America. And it is beautiful, and the renovations have been great. So, well, most of them. Tokyo Explained, even more so. Well, it will not be Tokyo Explained. I don't think I said the system was extensive. How about a video on decarbonization technologies? I've actually talked about hydrogen before, but not batteries. Maybe I'll talk about batteries. Let me make a note of that. That's actually a good topic. I have a long list. Would you replicate a city like the New York City subway today? Honestly, probably. I think there's a lot of great elements. Okay, wait. Replicate it? I'm not sure what parts you're thinking about replicating. Some parts, yes. Some parts, no. Definitely not. And I'm at the bottom of the chat, which feels like a miracle. Whew. Okay. I'll probably wind things down now because, wow, that was a lot of... It takes a lot of talking to do these streams. Yeah, it seems like the chat is basically exhausted too, which is good. So yeah, maybe call it a day for today. Oh yes, Toronto Union Station is full of dastardly Metrolinx employees. I find it's crazy to me how down on Metrolinx the media and people in Toronto are in general. Metrolinx has its problems, without a doubt, but the way they're treated totally unfairly. Like they've created a lot of good stuff and they've done a lot of good work. And I think Go, which they've been managing for some time now, is better than it's ever been. I think projects Metrolinx has built, again, for better or for worse, like the Up Express, which I rode yesterday, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter so you can see about that. I think projects that Metrolinx have done have been fantastic. Like the Up Express is a great project for, again, for better or for worse. I think, I think they're doing a lot of good stuff. They're looking at different ideas. The TTC, when they were planning the relief line, they're just like, it's got to be traditional Toronto subway tech. Hanoi opened its first metro line today. That's exciting. Metrolinx, is doing the Ontario line. It's being more creative. It's bringing new ideas in. It reminds me of TransLink in Vancouver, who I am always saying good things about. Kudos to Metrolinx, but don't get too high on yourself. Well, thank you so much for coming to the stream. Enjoy the beautiful day. I actually have to edit more videos. It's crazy, but there's just I have a vacation planned at some point in the future, let's just say, and I have to make videos for when I'm on vacation, because I'm not going to stop making videos. There's too many things to talk about, and I want to keep the channel moving. But what that means is I've got to produce even more videos, which is madness. I wouldn't say their handling of everything else is I wouldn't say that at all, because a lot of the stuff that Metrolinx is doing is stuff that they didn't really have full control over. For example, Presto, they didn't have full control over. They didn't do the whole project. The Eglinton Crosstown, a lot of that issues with it, and same with Finch West. Those were projects brought over from the city. So I actually think the stuff that Metrolinx has had control of, they've done a pretty good job. Not perfect, but pretty good. I want to know about you doing a video on Burlington Transit. I don't know. It's just Burlington Transit. I don't know how much there would really be for me to talk about. It's kind of a minor transit agency, but maybe at some point in the future. Looking forward to seeing Monday's video. Yep, make sure you set your reminders, 9 a.m. Monday morning. It should be great. Maybe 10 a.m. Monday morning. We'll see what happens. I'm happy to hear that my video on high floor versus low floor made someone realize that, Marcel, I think, that there's a difference in that one is better. Okay, yeah, I think this is it for today. So I'm going to stop the stream. But thank you so much for coming, and thank you everyone so much for spending some of the afternoon with me. Let's stay tuned.